Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a little dive into r/best of Redditor updates. We've got some misbehaving boyfriends, all the drama basically. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. And of course, little disclaimer, any opinions I give on the posts that we read are just that. They are just my opinions, not fact, not to be taken as such. If you have a different opinion, that's great. Do feel free to share it in the comments. Just make sure you're being respectful with each other. If you don't agree, don't have the same opinions, or don't have the same opinion as me, you don't need to be mean. It's just not nice, is it? So yeah, with that, let's get into it. So, Direct Caterpillar 77, because of course, shares this one and it says, my 23F boyfriend 24M keeps accidentally calling me his best friend's name during sex. Wow. Oh my goodness. So Direct Caterpillar's not the original poster. They are the person who compiled this all into a nice neat post for us, like a lovely little bean. The original poster is u/throwaway 706121, and it was originally posted April 21st, 2018. My boyfriend, let's call him Will, has been best friends with Caleb for about 10 to 11 years. Me and Will have been dating for about 6 months now, and things have been going really well. This has only just started to become a problem. I honestly know this sounds like a joke, and I've been scared to tell my friends because they'll either laugh at me or tell the story to other people, which would be really embarrassing. So he always would accidentally call me Caleb, sometimes during conversation, which I didn't mind at all. I get names mixed up all the time. Yeah, I sometimes accidentally call the cats my kids' names and the kids the cats' names. Or the kids, each other's names. Honestly. And earlier, a guy came to the door to drop off a parcel and he's like, oh, can I have your last name, please? And it took me, like, far longer than it should have to tell him my last name, because I was like, what? It actually is my last name. Hold on a minute. Embarrassing. I was just like, oh God, I hope he didn't notice that slightly too long of a pause there. But around last month in early March, he called me Caleb as I was giving him oral pleasurals. I would have laughed it off, but he said it so loudly and passionately that honestly I was so shocked that I just ignored it. Obviously I regret this now because eventually so much time passed that I couldn't bring it up and just kind of forgot about it. In my head I thought it was sort of funny because the way he said it was honestly funny as hell from an outside perspective. But as his girlfriend, it's kind of worrying. I mean, maybe he'd just been having a conversation with him or something. I don't know. I'm trying to find a reason for why he would have, like, done that, but I don't know. Maybe him and Caleb have a thing. Him and Caleb are very close. They've lived together for almost 2 years and they know everything about each other. But I really doubt that they have ever been together or have had feelings for each other. Will has mentioned Caleb having an ex-girlfriend, so I'm pretty sure he's straight, and Will is definitely straight. When I ran the situation through my head, I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's normal to get names mixed up sometimes, especially when you see that person every single day. Exactly. I should also add that I really like Caleb and would consider him a friend. Then it happened again. This time it was actually during sex. My name sounds nothing like Caleb, and he straight up moaned Caleb. I mean, how awkward. Like, what do you say? Because at that point, I am gonna probably start to think, is something going on? Like, or has maybe OP's boyfriend got a thing for Caleb or something, and Caleb doesn't know, or yeah, what is going on? I would be so curious by that point. This time I started laughing awkwardly, thinking Will would also be laughing that he had said Caleb by accident. He just looked blank and kind of confused for a second, and then saw that I was nervously laughing and did this awkward fake laugh for a few seconds before kissing me again. I said, that's the second time you've done that, and he laughed and said, I'm just an R-word. Sorry, lovely. Obviously I was uncomfortable, but again, I thought it was just him being clumsy. Finally, it happened a last time last night. He moaned Caleb as we were having sex. I stopped him and sort of snapped and said, "Okay, what the fuck, dude?" And he started crying and said that he gets names mixed up because he had a kidney stone last year. I'm sorry. Me, when I was in school, and had to come up with an excuse on the fly for why I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing. That is a terrible excuse. And it was really stressful for him, and Caleb was the person who helped him through it. What the fuck? This is total BS, right? I mean, I don't know much about kidney stones, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. Oh my goodness. He could have come up with a better excuse, like, oh my goodness. Oh, that's actually brought a tear to my eye. It made me laugh that much. It's just the way it was such a daft excuse. He could have thought of anything else. Anything like, oh, we've just spoken a lot today, or whatever. Anything. Now I'm more worried about his weird lies excuse for doing it rather than him actually doing it. Should I be worried? Do I need to talk to him about this, or should I just end things? I think when it comes to relationships, if there's something that's bothering you and there is a problem, even if you think that it's going to end in you ending things anyway, it's always a good idea to talk about it if it is safe to do so, obviously. Because, you know, you get a little bit of clarity on what's actually going on, and then you can make your decision then of how you move forward better, you know? So yeah, I would say it's always good to talk about things if safe to do so. So TLDR, my boyfriend calls me his best friend's name during sex and blames it on a kidney stone. Oh, mate. Jeez, that's the weirdest excuse I think I'll ever hear for something like that, honestly. Top comments, a deleted commenter says, dealing with kidney stones right now definitely doesn't make me scream Mike when I'm having sex. If anything, it makes me scream motherfucker in the bathroom. Do with that what you will. And then FairyWing789 says, I have to say the kidney stone bit is the most far-fetched creative bullshit excuse I've read about in a long time. There's reaching, and then there's ripping your arm off and claiming you're stretching. And then Lizzie6692 says, and Will is definitely straight. Please don't be that naive. Guys don't call you by a man's name in bed multiple times when they're 100% straight. Yeah, I wonder if maybe OP's boyfriend has a secret crush that maybe even the boyfriend hasn't kind of reconciled with in his own head on Caleb to a certain point, because yeah, you don't just start shouting people's names. I don't think I've ever shouted any of my friends' names during, you know, but yeah, I just don't think that would be something you would do multiple times. Once, okay, fair enough, you might have just been talking to them or about them a lot that day. More than once, there's something amiss and I don't know what. Anyway, so Alton Brown fan says, no, you don't understand. It's a kidney stone bros thing. And then Zia says, that's the rule. A kidney stone means no homo. Oh my god. Listen to the advice man says, can confirm, was 100% straight, got a kidney stone last year, and now I'm dating a nice young man. Well, I hope you and that nice young man and your kidney stone are very happy, my love. And then FairyWing789 says, I remember when I got a bone spur and started batting for the other team. Soon as the doctor took it out, it cured the gay. Oh my god. So Milkbeam Galaxia says, I don't want to be that person, but are you sure he isn't in love with him or holds some romantic feelings for him? That's what I'm saying. I really think that it might be that there is some sort of romantic feelings that maybe even her boyfriend hasn't managed to get right with in his own head yet. Because yeah, you don't just do that 3 times by accident, honestly. Well, obviously it was by accident, but for no reason, should I say. You need to sit down and have a serious conversation with him on this. I get it may happen the first time, but it happened again. Yikes. So then Adelaire says, Will has mentioned Caleb having an ex-girlfriend, so I'm pretty sure he's straight and Will is definitely straight. Bisexuality exists. Exactly. So we have an update 2 days later. This got a lot of attention and everyone's responses were very helpful. They made me realise how serious this whole thing is, and how I was fooling myself into thinking that Will didn't have some sort of feelings for Caleb. They live about a block away from me, so I really thought through everything I wanted to say and headed over there. Caleb answered the door and let me know that Will was picking up concert tickets and that he'd be back soon, and he let me in. I'll admit I was acting strange around Caleb because even though it isn't his fault, I still felt a bit jealous and sad. He picked up on this and asked what was wrong, and I basically broke down and asked if he and Will had ever slept together. He looked really shocked and asked why, and I ended up telling him about the whole thing. He looked incredibly confused the whole time, and then when I told him about the kidney stone thing, he burst into laughter. But like manic laughter. He was shaking so much, it was like he was vibrating. And then he started crying, and I got really worried. What the hell is going on? And asked what was going on. He wouldn't answer me at first, but after I insisted he tell me what was going on, he apologised to me and told me that he and Will had drunkenly slept together a handful of times over the last 2 years, and Will had wanted something more, but he didn't want a relationship with him. Eventually, Will moved on with me, and Caleb had confessed to Will that he was jealous. Ah, right. There's been a whole, romance drama going on behind the scenes that we knew nothing about. But he swears nothing happened between them. He prefaced the conversation with, I'm not gay or anything, but okay, Caleb, like the commenter said, bisexuality exists, and it's okay, my love. It is okay. Given the amount of people telling me that they thought they liked each other, I was prepared for this. The whole situation is a mess, and I think both of them need to figure things out with themselves as well as each other. I decided to leave Will a letter explaining this and left. I'm pretty upset, but luckily Will and I had only been together for less than 6 months, so I'm glad to have got out when I did. I hope I don't bump into them at Walmart. Yeah, that would be very awkward, wouldn't it? Like, this whole love triangle thing that's been going on, and then you're just like there with your shopping trolleys like, so, this weather we're having, huh? TLDR, Caleb and Will have feelings for each other and have slept together multiple times. Yeah, it's so sad that they felt like they couldn't actually move forward with anything though, if you really think about it, because obviously this was going on before the OP and him got together. Caleb turned down Will, so Will then moved on with the OP, and there was still unrequited feelings going on, and it's sad that they had those feelings for each other, but for whatever reason they felt like they couldn't pursue it. I hope they can start to work out in their own heads where they're at, just with themselves, you know, not as together as a couple kind of thing, but where they're at with their own sexuality and what have you, because I can only imagine it feels very stifling to be living one way, feeling another, you know? Anyway, down in the comments of the Best of Redditor updates, Witch Dagger says, I hope I don't bump into them at Walmart, is such a real smallish town fear. Oh my goodness, yes it is. I remember an ex that I had once who I was like really trying to avoid because he was proper like stalkery. I think I've spoke about this one before. And like I say, I could have easily took him in a fight. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I still don't want to bump into him because he would follow me around for like ages, just being really pesty if I ever did. So sometimes I'd find myself skulking around the Tesco's like I was in like FBI mode or something. It was ridiculous. But of course, in this story, the person I do feel sorry for the most is the OP, because obviously they had no idea any of this had ever gone on, and they just thought they were in a, you know, a nice, happy relationship with no little love triangles going on in the background. And yeah, I imagine it feels like a really big betrayal to them, even though there was no cheating per se. I mean, it depends how you define cheating. If you think having emotional feelings for someone else, I know some people say that that's just as bad, but you know, on that one, I think that's a bit of a grey area for me. I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest, but By the by, that is how it's going to feel to them. So it's going to feel like a big betrayal. And then now they're going to be worrying with their next partner, you know? Do they have feelings for someone they know and what have you? So hopefully, considering it wasn't a relationship that had been going on for long, hopefully they can just kind of move past it after a little while, taking a little bit of time to heal and what have you. So yeah. Okay then, so next post, and for some reason, I've saved an Am I the Devil in my Best of Redditor Updates sort of like folder where I save the post that I want to read later. I basically read the titles and I'm like, that sounds like it could be interesting and I'll read it with you all later. So I must have put this in here by accident. Honestly, my brain's like someone's had the lid off and shit in it this week, so I'm not surprised. We're going to read it anyway, because why not? So this one was reposted by Kofire25. Nobody even knew her. So it was posted in r/Am I the Butthole, and the title reads, Am I the Butthole for dancing at a wedding, even though I was a +1 to a friend? My friend and co-worker was invited to his close friend's wedding and received a +1. Since he had just broken up with his girlfriend, he didn't want to go alone and be seen alone in photos on social media, so he asked if I would go with him. I love weddings and I didn't have plans for the weekend and always wanted to see this particular venue in person anyway, as I always pictured it for myself, so I said yes. I didn't know the bride and groom, but I am aware of wedding etiquette such as don't wear white, don't upstage the bride, be polite, etc. The wedding comes and I show up with my co-worker/date. I meet a lot of his buddies and we're all getting along fine. One thing about me is I love to dance and never turn down an opportunity. I was on several dance teams in school, so I am semi-trained, so it's not uncoiffed? I've never seen that word written down. Or sloppy dancing. During cocktail hour, the DJ is playing some great music, which I thought was more appropriate for the reception, and didn't want to let the songs go to waste, so to speak, so I danced a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I loved the music. People were looking my way, but not in shock, but almost like delight, like, she's going to be fun on the dance floor tonight. Okay, so I've never been to a wedding that's had cocktail hour, so I don't know if it's like appropriate to dance at cocktail hour. Someone who has will have to let me know. Finally, the reception starts and they are doing the bridal party announcements where the DJ plays songs and the couples dance together onto the dance floor. I love hyping people up and getting the party started. So, as each couple was announced, I subtly hyped them up and show them fun moves to go along with the songs. Nothing crazy. I'd point at them and do something like shake my shoulders and encourage them to do the same. Eventually my date asked me to call it, so I did by the fourth couple and didn't do it again, as they seemed they had routines they'd practiced anyway. I didn't think it was a big deal to help out, but I stopped when asked. I feel like everyone else is sitting around or standing around politely watching because that's like the vibe. And OP's just there, right on the edge of the dance floor, like shimmying their shoulders like, come on now, do this. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah, no, read the room, love. Before you start doing stuff like that, look around and read the room and the vibe of the event that you are at, you know? I spent most of the night on the dance floor afterwards, dancing with everyone and generally hyping up the crowd. I could tell a lot of guests may not have felt confident, so I would make sure to go to the tables sitting down and try to get them on the dance floor, because I know it's important at weddings for guests to have fun. Yeah, but some people don't like to dance. They want to go there to enjoy the couple, but they don't want to dance. Like, let them sit and talk. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing worse than that one person. And the running joke is it's always that one uncle that comes over like, come on now, get on the dance floor. Or that one auntie, isn't it? But yeah, there's nothing worse than that one person that comes around trying to like pull you onto the dance floor when you were just not that kind of like dancing type. I am not the dancing type unless I am like a good bottle of wine in. And I don't really drink, so that never happens. I don't go, actually, tell a lie, I don't go anywhere, so that never happens. I don't go to events like that. Once in a blue moon, maybe. But yeah, It is so annoying when there's that one person that won't leave everyone alone and just tries to make everyone like dance and what have you. And it's like, not everyone's into that, mate. Leave them be. At one point, though, the mother of the bride or groom, couldn't tell, looked at me and rudely quipped, "Can you please stop? We don't know you," when I was dancing next to her table and trying to get the grandparents up. Leave Granny alone, she's gonna break a hip. Goodness me. I fully retreated and spent the rest of the night at my table and didn't even speak to my date, because he basically started to ignore me after the announcements and during dinner service when I asked if he wanted to dance. He said no, he was eating, and rudely. Yeah, so it sounds like the OP was just basically main character syndroming it around the event and just trying to get on everyone's nerves. Oh, no, that's not okay. You've got to read the room, you really do, and especially when you are a +1 and you don't know them. Just stand back a little and let them do their thing. So, am I the butthole for dancing at a wedding? I get that I wasn't a friend or family, but I was a guest, and even bought a card to a couple I just met that day. My co-worker hasn't texted me, and I see him tomorrow. I also wanted to reach out to the bride via Facebook to see if photos were posted yet, and thank her for the lovely time. Leave them alone, OP, for goodness sake. Yeah, I can see why people might have been getting annoyed, and I understand wanting to, make sure everyone's having fun, but it was not your event to try and take over that sort of thing with in the first place, So down in the comments, Chapter Few 5342 says, "This just kept getting worse. Trying to get the grandparents up. Not everyone thinks dancing is the fun part of a wedding." Shaking my head. And then Walking Dude 368 says, "I'm thinking back to my cousin's wedding last year, who I am very close to, and trying to get my girlfriend up for a dance. My girlfriend loves my cousin, but she has hesitancy around attracting attention to herself, so she was super reluctant to dance. I can't imagine how awkward it would have been had some stranger tried to drag her onto the dance floor." Exactly. I would have just been thinking, who is this pisshead that someone's brought with them? Because it's usually the ones that have had far too much to drink that are doing those tricks, Oh, goodness me. Yeah, OP, you can't be doing that. You can't be taking over someone else's wedding. That's not okay. Okay then, so I think that's all we've got time for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you're having a really good rest of the day. Goodbye, and don't forget to leave an offering for a comment. Big out!